Welcome back. It's a 2 week video. Excuse my dog in the background, but I'm very happy to say that you know, in this journey, I guess 27 years old today, feel pretty healed. Kind of know what I want in life. So, my advice to people who are still struggling every single day, whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, whether it's just getting out of a relationship. I think a lot of people nowadays they don't take the time to you know re-identify what their main problems are, key problems, the root causes of everything. Recently, I've been taking this, I think it's mineral. It's called magnesium glycinate, and it pretty much helps me um, rehabilitate myself in a way where I can sleep, let's say at 10 p.m. every night, and I'll wake up the very next day with 8 hours of sleep, which is close to what I need every single day. Um, so I can have basic functions, I guess, without feeling bad, waking up in the morning, and I would sleep through the entire day. It really helped. Thank you. Shout out to Dyrus. Um, but yeah, I was gonna say, a lot of things happen uh, mainly because of what happened in our childhood, because we repeat patterns. I personally think that we are creatures of habit. Humans, in general, we really enjoy, in a sense, continue with whatever we set ourselves in our path. Similar to League of Legends, where your core build depends on what your starting items are, and your components make up what your core items are. And I think that applies to life. Shout out to Pobelter. A lot of things in life, it really depends on your building blocks. And so, if you don't set up yourself for success, you're pretty much doomed for failure. Whatever failure and success means to you. I have a success video that I posted about a week ago, and I pretty much tell people uh, whether or not they are achieving what they want in life. I personally think that as long as you continue working towards your goals, success will come. Um, whether it's money, whether it's music, whatever. Just keep going at it, and eventually, people will find your worth. People will find your value. And so, for everyone that's struggling on a day-to-day basis, personally, it takes time. You know, um, it really depends, right? So, yeah, you need to understand how you're flowing day to day on a macro and micro basis. Micro wise, what are you doing? With your hands, with your legs. What's going on, right? Every single action that you make, you should have a purpose, right? And so you're just not necessarily wasting time, but you're putting yourself in that footstep. It's good to relax. It's good to take some downtime because you don't want to. You want to avoid burnout. Burnout. You don't want to burn yourself out. Personally, I've been through a couple of burnouts where I kept working overtime at the airport, and it just wasn't healthy. You wake up every day at 2 a.m. and then you go to work at 3:30, and then you get off at 12, and then you don't get off at 12. You get off at 3. You get home at like 4 something. It's just not plausible. You sleep at 7. It's just not plausible, right? You do that every single week for like a month straight. It's just not good for your body. So take care of your body. Um, drink enough water, and just personally just understand that not everything that you do needs to have a reason, but you need to at least categorize some time into whatever that you want to work on. Earlier this morning, I was talking to my dad, and he was basically telling me, you don't always have to work on your weaknesses. I think you should personally push forward more of your strengths. And so I was asking myself, well, what the hell are my weaknesses? What the hell are my strengths? I know what my weaknesses are, and I know what my strengths are. But ultimately, um, you gotta, specialize in a couple things. And once you finish specializing in them, do you give enough value for other people so that you can make something out of it, right? So personally, I record these videos so I can put my value into these videos for other people to watch. And whatever that they want to take, take. If they want to leave it, just leave it. It's not a big deal. These videos aren't anything special. I just talk out of my head, and if it gives value, then great. They keep liking the video, they keep watching it, perfect. I have a lot to say. I yap. But yeah, whatever is going on inside your head, there's a study in the human brain cells where negative self-talk, positive self-talk, it rewires your brain. So anything that you say to yourself, whether it's in your head or out loud, it messes with your brain activities, and it changes it harnesses whatever that you tell yourself, whether it's true or not, right? So you gotta emphasize, right? You gotta emphasize what it is that you want, what it is that you want to work towards, and what it is that you're willing to sacrifice for in order to meet those goals. And personally, I don't really know if most people even know those things. I think most people just are just mechanically just trying to not necessarily survive, but they're not really actively thinking. They're not really actively pursuing something other than one or two things. And I don't think that most people nowadays, they really put that emphasis into whatever is going on inside their head. And connecting the dot, you gotta think. Most people don't think. You gotta think, right? If you don't think and you don't connect those dots, nothing will come about it, right? If you don't prepare for success, then you're doomed for failure. So you gotta be able to, whether it's jotting down those ideas, or writing is perfect. Journaling is perfect. You gotta be able to find out what is going on, right? I think being situationally aware of the fact of what's going on in your life and being observant of your daily life will break patterns and habits for you to change those habits, right? And when you change those habits, you're able to understand, right? You're able to understand that it matters to a certain extent, but in a way, it matters to a certain extent if you think it matters. If you don't think it matters, then you're just being indifferent towards whatever is going on in your life. So you have free will. You get to choose what you want, right? So if what you want is a piece of steak tonight, well, how am I going to get that piece of steak? You got to think about it, right? So what I wanted to say in this video for last week, since I didn't make a video last week, or I made up for it for the last 2 weeks, I wanted to say that ask yourself what you really, really want. And if you're able to use your strengths to tackle whatever that you want, great. If you're not able to, then ask yourself, well, why not? If you create doubts and fears in your head, well, are you able to get rid of them? So yeah, take time to analyze and take time to prepare and take time for yourself. Because if you invest in yourself, and when you do invest in yourself, nobody's going to benefit it more other than yourself, right? So think about it.